Today's podcast is brought to you by the BetStamp app, which is helping thousands of people win at sports betting for free. The same way travelers use Google Flights or Expedia to find the best prices, bettors can now use BetStamp to do the same. When you place a bet, the odds given by a sportsbook will determine how much you could possibly win. Even when betting on the same outcome, different sportsbooks will offer varying payouts, and these differences can be huge. Thankfully, BetStamp allows you to easily line shop for the most profitable odds across all sportsbooks. You can click on any matchup and instantly see all the different odds for game lines, player props, and even futures bets. Line shopping is the simplest way to find an edge in sports betting long term. On average, BetStamp users win an extra $1,000 yearly just by line shopping. You can find the BetStamp app on the Apple iOS Store, Google Play Store, or through your browser at www.betstamp.app. To access all these benefits, sign up using promo code CinqBoys and start your journey to successful sports betting today. If you forget to use the code upon sign up, you can always enter our code in your BetStamp account settings afterwards. Check it out. What's going on, everybody? This is the CinqBoys podcast.
CinqBoys.
We're fucking buzzing right now, boys. Just listen to the Fox NFL intro to get fucking fired up. The NFL's right around the corner. We got a bunch of countdowns going on. We're gonna talk later about we're going to do like the FanDuel over-under win totals for each team. Kind of just like a brief layover or review. Neither of those things. Yikes. But we're also going to talk about baseball. Thank God for Ellie De La Cruz and players like him, Corbin Carroll, the younger cats in the league, starting to light a fire under the ass of the MLB as a whole. But we do have kind of breaking news. We're not breaking it, but it is news. It is the details of the NBA in-season tournament have been released. Jack?
What is it for?
What do you mean?
What is it for?
There's a trophy.
A trophy?
Yeah.
So half the guys in the league are going to buy in?
No.
Everyone?
No.
Steph Curry, LeBron?
They're not. No one's buying.
Buy in December.
Is that what it is?
This matters. No. Interest, motivation.
I think that it's less about those teams and more about the teams that haven't won anything.
Or the younger teams, yeah. But again, what does this get you? NBA Cup? Are we supposed to now care as fans about the NBA Cup?
It's not our responsibility. It's the faces of the league responsibility to make this seem more important than it is.
It just seems so phony. What and the divisions? Who's in the Warriors division? OKC, the Spurs,
the T-Wolves, and the Kings, dude. I know that we were talking about it like it was favorable for the Warriors yesterday, but it's not like those teams are nothing. All those teams got better.
Hey, man.
Actually, the Wolves are pretty bad.
No. See, the Wolves are the...
We signed Naz Reid. Sick.
I mean, yeah, I like Naz Reid, but that's not... Like, the T-Wolves are one of the teams that I was going to say is good in that conversation. I think the Warriors would be able to handle a Thunder. Or...
The Thunder got better.
The Spurs. I don't know why. I feel like the Kings are going to do worse next year. But regardless, why do we care that the Warriors even come close to winning the NBA Cup?
I think that it would be hilarious if Chris Paul won one of those before he ever won a championship.
That would be hilarious.
We're talking about the Warriors early, but it's going to be interesting to see what other teams kind of make a run at this. I wouldn't be surprised if Giannis and the Bucks went hard to try to win this. The Lakers, I could see going after it hard. They brought back their entire starting lineup.
How much is this little playoff situation that they just put together, how much is that going to impact your thoughts on actual postseason? None, right? Because, dude, what if a team like the Suns flies through this thing because they're healthy in the beginning of the year and they just beat everybody, no problem, outscore everybody because it's game one, game one, game one, game one. It's one game elimination.
No,
Yeah, it is.
it's group play. Every Tuesday and Friday.
Well, those are season games. Those games count towards your season. If you're basically just like go on like a 5, 6, 7 game winning streak, like you win the cup.
No.
Yes.
It's just Tuesdays and Fridays is the group play. Everybody has to play each other once.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what, 5 games?
Mm-hmm.
You have to play 5 games, and that's over a span of 2 weeks, and some of the games in between here and there are not part of it.
Exactly.
It's not
So
like
it's
7
basically like
games
you're
in a
just
row.
playing a season. You're playing through your season. You try to win every game anyway.
Yeah, but it's not
It's
like
not like
you
you're
get hot
playing-
for 6, 7 games and then you win the title.
Okay, but it's also not like you're playing the Thunder 2, 3 games in a row. That's what I mean. It's one game. One game elimination.
It's not, dude, it's only elimination once you get to the playoffs.
Exactly. That's what I'm talking
And it's
about.
an
I'm not talking
8-game
about the
playoff.
qualifying round.
So it's 3 games. It's an 8-seed tournament.
Mm-hmm.
It's 3 games. And it's going to be in Vegas. Dude,
Okay.
It's like an event. It's an event. It's okay. It's okay. It doesn't have to be this thing where it's like, oh, this means nothing. What a waste of time for the NBA and their players and everybody, everything that's going into this tournament.
That's 100% how I feel.
I know. And that's absolutely ridiculous. That's a hot take.
Why?
Because you're going out of your way to say that this doesn't matter. So now you are contributing to the fact that it does matter. So you're contradicting yourself in just saying that it doesn't matter.
That's not true.
Yes.
I'm trying to spread the word that we shouldn't care about this, and
Spread
we
the
shouldn't
word.
even care at all.
It's too late. The car's full. It's already happening.
It's dumb.
It's in the schedule.
It's stupid.
I didn't think that this is where this conversation was going. I
Well,
can't
why-
believe you feel this strongly about this. It's so irrelevant.
It's not irrelevant. They're making an event out of the middle of the season, and most of the guys have played their whole careers without caring about the middle of the season.
Dude, I think the NBA would benefit maybe second to least out of the major 4 sports.
By something like this.
I think the baseball would benefit largely from this.
Yeah, we had that conversation around the World Baseball Classic.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's the attitude I thought I was going to have about this NBA Cup situation, but you're making it into an in-season tournament. There is going to be a winner, but the winner isn't actually winning anything. And you're just taking this who cares, it doesn't matter stance. That's my point. Why are
I'm
we
not taking a who cares, that doesn't matter.
Okay, so what? Why does it matter that the Suns might win 3 games straight after going through the qualifying rounds with no problem, winning 3 games straight and getting the NBA Cup? Why does that matter or not matter? I don't even know where you stand.
Which stance are you taking this from? Like, whose perspective? The players? The media's
fans.
perspective of their legacies?
The fans and the players.
For the fans, it'll be great.
Why?
Because it'll be competitive basketball. We will see guys.
And the players
caring
aren't
more
gonna
in
care.
the beginning of the season.
No. That's my other point. The fans and the players. Players aren't going to try because they don't care, and the fans are going to lose.
So you think that, the beginning of the season starts, training camp and then preseason games, and then they start the regular season games. And you think that, they'll be like, all right, guys, this is one of our, qualifying games. Like, let's not play this any different, you know what I'm saying? But, dude, those guys are going to go into it with a different kind of energy. What are you talking about? You think, so if you were on a team, say they had this in men's softball, where at the beginning of the season, you were able to get a separate championship in the middle of the season. You think that the boys are not going to be fucking buzzing?
No.
You're a crazy person.
I think people go out and try to get things and have motivation to go and get things and have ambition and work their asses off every day to go and get things that matter and that have value in other people's minds. This new NBA Cup thing has no value for Hall of Fame, for any of your accolades or trophies, it doesn't matter. No one cares. Nobody before this had this. Nobody cares. It's not like a reputation booster.
Dude,
it's a middle of the
it's
season
first
tournament.
one.
Exactly. It's going to take a while for it to matter.
It's going
to take a while for it to matter.
There's going to be situations like, dude, how many times did Tim Duncan and the Spurs win 55 games in their like 15, 20-year tenure that he was there? Like, how many of these could they have won on top of winning championships? Like, if you, I bet you
the sport is an 82 game season and 4 wins per round in the playoffs. And it's always been that way. And that's how you get credit and build your reputation, is winning the playoff games and winning the title. The middle of the season tournament does not matter at all. And nobody's going to care.
It is the very first one.
I know.
It's easy for you to sit there and make this stance on this now. Yes. When we don't know what's going on, how this is going to pan out.
It's easy for me to see that this is...
I think it's naive of you to assume that this automatically is not going to matter.
I think it's going to be fun for like... I think because we both like the Thunder. I think it'd be fun to see like the Thunder get like, oh, they went far in the in-season tournament, but like, I don't think it's going to matter that much.
I think it depends on who wins.
That's true.
Okay.
If a really...
All right. We did it, dude.
I don't see it any other way as being like the Clippers stayed healthy and they won this, and of course it doesn't matter. Or the Lakers just have a really good roster, or a super young team made it really fun and they made it far in this thing, and then they won, or they came close to winning. Like, that's really like the only ways that I see it going.
All right, here's like a kind of off the beaten path take. ESPN just fired all those people, and one of them was Jeff Van Gundy. Jeff Van Gundy was kind of anti-establishment when it comes to the NBA, and he was a broadcaster. If he was broadcasting one of these games that we're talking about, like, he'd probably be like, this is dumb. This doesn't mean anything. Yes. But that's the type of stuff that stunts the growth of new things that are being implemented. Dude, if you're in a business and you're trying new things, you just rolled out a new marketing whatever, and then you have one or two guys that have a lot of influence in the conference room meetings that are just saying that this is stupid. That doesn't help growth.
I agree.
That stunts growth.
I agree.
Okay, so fuck him.
Not entirely. I look at it two ways. One way, if it stays this way, I don't think I'm going to be a fan of it. But if it morphs into the 2 seasons thing with like a 25 game season, and remember the last time we talked about that, we could probably put that in all sports except for football, the 4 major sports. But it's an injury thing. Guys never stay healthy the entire year for most teams. And if the season was only 25 games this past season, Zion would have played more than half the season in the first season.
Dude, you know how the
Pels might have been in it.
Yep. You know how we saw, like, there was here and there just random nights in, like, December. Like, Doncic's 60-20-10 game was in December. But it's just like, imagine if he had that in the championship game of the Cup. That's means a lot. It's an elevated stage, dude. Regardless, it's an elevated stage than a regular season game.
I understand the idea that you're gonna have to over time, like, make this thing matter more by like the winners year after year, and yeah, it's gonna be a fun little event, but still, like I don't know. It's gonna be 50-50, and it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be controversial just because like. It doesn't. I don't know. The motivation for me there is just a little different.
Also, think about this: the semifinals and the finals will be played in Vegas. And if I were a betting man, I would say They're probably going to have the two semifinals games back to back. And then at that point, do you have other NBA stars and players sitting courtside for these games, kind of like the All-Star events happen? A lot of celebrities there. It's in Vegas. Dude, the NBA is so good at FaceTime because you are so close to the players and they're not wearing helmets or masks. This is like a very good PR move, dude. I can't believe I wasn't feeling like this until we started this conversation, and you were so radical on one side. So I had to convince myself through trying to convince you that it's worth it. And now I'm like, wow, this is going to be great.
I think it could be a great success with if they morph it into kind of an all-star game thing too. But like it just as is right now, not a fan. We'll see how it goes over time.
Dude, you know what I'm thinking about right now? That
What?
guy in ShopRite.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Joe's wearing a Giants shirt, as everybody can see. That's watching on YouTube.
Let's go, boys.
And this guy just started berating him. We were going shopping at a ShopRite.
Yeah. That's previously stated.
And this guy wearing a Braves hat is just like, you think the Giants are getting 11 wins? You're delusional. He's a Cowboys fan. Seems to have a lot of
Dude, the thing is, like, this was a perfect example, and I said this afterwards to Jack when we weren't with the guy. This is a perfect example of us being able to speak to civilians, not like other people that we know that have like more expertise takes because of how close they are with the Giants and the NFC East in general. This was a random guy. And the first thing he actually said to me was, "You like the Giants, huh? What do you think? 6 wins this year?" I said, "Absolutely no shot. I'm saying 11 or 12 and 2 playoff wins." And he called me delusional. A person I've never met in my life called me delusional to my face 5 seconds into the conversation. And dude, he's a Cowboys guy, and he's very Dak is so good. He didn't mention the defense. He's talking about how Gallup is gonna have like a big year this year. Who else they got? Brandon Cooks. Zeke is gone.
CD Lamb.
Can Pollard handle 300 carries?
He was also like, yeah, and the tight end, we're looking good. It's like, who?
Yeah, who's the tight end, bud?
Didn't you guys draft? Wait, is it Dalton Kincaid?
That's Bills.
Dalton Schultz for Dalton Kincaid?
Schultz got traded to the Texans?
No, that's what I mean. Like, who's their tight end?
I have no idea.
I think they drafted one, and it wasn't the Notre Dame kid. Yeah, their defense is going to be really good, dude. They're going to be really good, I think.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean,
but again, they haven't
win in the playoffs.
They haven't changed the culture, the coach, the quarterback, and Jerry Jones is still the owner, GM. So we'll see with the Cowboys. With as low as most NFC's expectations are, or as low as our expectations are of the NFC teams to stack up against the Eagles and the Niners, there's not many other obstacles.
I heard a perfect quote. It was that the Cowboys, I think, are the most agreed upon in the general population of people that know about the NFL. The Cowboys are the one team that everybody, without blinking an eye, is like they can beat the Eagles or the Cowboys. Or the 49ers, I mean. Like, they're the one team in the NFC that can 100% challenge those two teams.
Are able to.
Yeah, dude.
Won't.
Yeah. Another thing this guy was talking about was, he's like, you paid Jones all that money, and now you're going to have to pay Saquon. I'm like, first of all, the Daniel Jones contract is going to end up being cheaper than whatever quarterbacks are signed. Lamar was obviously way more expensive, and next year, like, it'll be fine. And then he was talking about re-signing Saquon. I'm like, dude, why pay a guy, my Saquon argument with why pay Saquon 16 if you could pay Eric Gray $100 million to do 80% of the job. And his follow-up was how good the Cowboys running back group was.
I couldn't name half of it.
I named Deuce Vaughn for him, and then he was like, "Yeah, we got this really good fullback." I'm like, What's his name?" He's like, "I'll let you find that out on your own. You'll see. Remember, the guy from ShopRite told you the Cowboys fullback is going to be great this year." All right. Anyway, let's get into baseball.
Let's do a little baseball.
Yeah. Quick shout out. Ellie De La Cruz quickly become my favorite player. I was shopping for his jersey yesterday. The black Cincy jersey. Sick jersey. $37 on a fan. What's that?
Fans Edge.
No.
Oh, East Bay.
No. What a throwback. Fanatics had a 70% off sale the other day, and I didn't take advantage. But most exciting play I've seen all season. He steals second, and then they're playing a shift for a lefty, so no one's near third base. He just jogs over to third, and then the pitcher turns his back to home plate and walks back to the mound, and he steals home all in one play. Reminds me of Little League Baseball. That really tapped into the nostalgia part of my fandom of baseball. So thanks, bud. I really appreciate you. Anyway, Jack.
I think we should do some bet stamp.
Ooh.
The Rangers lost
Yeah, dude. I don't want to talk about it.
7-2.
Yeah.
Best odds you could have gotten with the Nationals pregame was with Profit Exchange at plus 198. Almost getting 2 times your money back. But you know what we are going to do here.
Mets.
Let's
go.
We're on the Mets again.
Yeah.
So I rode with the D-backs last week, and I was like, nah, there's no way. This D-backs team is good. This Mets team is bad. The D-backs are home. We'll be fine. The Mets swept. I got swept by the Mets.
Yeah.
Now I'm on the Mets.
Yeah. Classic bandwagon.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah.
Nets after they trade their 2 superstars.
Yeah.
But we're on the Mets. They win game 1 against the Padres. Padres take game 2. Let's see what happens tonight. We got Mets money line on the Profit Exchange is the best site you want to use to get the best odds for your money line pick of the Mets at plus 120.
You notice how Profit Exchange has better lines than everybody else most of the time? You know why that is?
Because you can edit them.
Well, you can, but the reason is because another human being, not the sports book itself, has to match the other side of your bet. So if I were to take the Mets, somebody would have to have another person taking the Padres money line to match my bet, like be on the other side. So that's why Profit Exchange is not making as much money, I guess. So it doesn't matter to them. I don't know, but Profit Exchange steals another victory in the bet stamp game plus 120 on the Mets, and the other ones are as low as plus 110. Yeah, bet $1,000, you're making an extra what, $10? We're buzzing. It's about the little things in life. Bet stamp app. Use code CinqBoys to sign up. And if you sign up and forget to put in the CinqBoys code, you can just go back into your account settings and input the code, and you'll still get the benefits. So, BetStamp, download it today.
So I found out today, looking at the baseball standings, that I bet on all the good teams to win.
Yeah.
And all the bad teams to lose.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't know I was such a record rider.
I don't think the lines always respect. The lines are heavily affected by who's pitching, too. So it's like when we see Reds as underdogs, it's like, dude, they have really only one good pitcher, and it's Abbott.
Some of the guys have been picking it up a little bit.
But, dude, their ERAs are all like above 5. Nobody is good on that team except for Abbott. Maybe their bullpen is better, but
Speaking of the Reds,
they're dogs today against a team that's worse than them. Who they playing? The Pirates?
the Brewers, it's top 6.
What?
They
What's the
got
score?
2 guys on, but they're down 1.
Yeah, the Reds always come back. They're down 4-0 yesterday. They won 7-5.
Speaking of coming back, Francisco Alvarez, I forgot to say this during the Mets thing, hits a game-tying homer with 2 outs and a full count against the Diamondbacks. And then against the Padres, he hit a game-tying homer. And then in game 2 last night, didn't he hit a solo shot in like the top of the 8th? And
He
they still
has,
lost.
I think he got called up recently.
He got called up, I want to say May. And he's been there like catcher because he could play both ways. He could hit really well, and he's a good catcher. But he's a rookie.
Nice. Dude, he brings like a different type of energy to that team.
He has like a really like a psycho energy.
Yeah, I love that. Like that game tying home run when they were down 1-0 and he hit a solo shot. He was fucking screaming, running around the bases, fired up. The guys on the bench were like, all right, dude, we get it, but holy shit, like you're wired.
See, I heard that Lindor like kind of talked him off the ledge, like not like being crazy. And I don't really like that.
Lindor's a pussy.
I don't like that. I feel like I can get behind Lindor being the leader of that team if he doesn't like micromanage like that. It's like you got to manage the personalities on the team if you're going to be like the captain. You got to manage the response, the like the relationships and how people act, but like you can't just not let a guy be himself, dude. He hit a game tying homer. He's in the MLB. It's lit. He's in his first 50 games.
See, I immediately think of Jeremy Lin with the Knicks. It's like this guy comes out of nowhere. The team sucks and they're getting worse. And this guy comes in out of nowhere with a different type of energy. And now you guys are starting to win games. Why the hell would you tell that guy to cool down? That changes everything.
That's the
And then
exact
just go back to
situation the
losing.
Mets are in right now.
Exactly. You know what I also found out about Jeremy Lin this weekend? You might have found this out too, that the season after Linsanity, he went to the Rockets. You remember that?
Yeah.
And it's because they made this rule that if somebody's offered a restricted offer sheet, that it has to be split up in half between the 4 years, 7 million and 7 million ish. And then the back end, it's like back heavy. It's like 23, 24 million for the last 2 years. Even if they only want to pay him 10 million a year. So the Knicks were like, we can't do this. Are you out of your fucking mind? So they literally physically in no way, shape, or form could match that Rockets sheet.
And then the Rockets ruined him because they didn't know that he was a project and not a sports car.
I just think it sucked as a New York sports fan at that time because nobody was really good and the Knicks weren't really that good. So
speaking of New York sports, I saw a post on the Giants Instagram saying that the top 5 Giants of the century of like since 2000.
Jeremy Shockey.
There was 3 defensive linemen on there.
Strahan, OC, Justin Tuck.
And that's the order they were ranked in. Agree, disagree?
I agree. I think OC had the benefit of being lined up with Strahan more, right?
Wait, did you say Strahan, OC, Tuck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or it was Tuck and OC?
No, it was Tuck and OC, and it was Strahan and like Lindbath. The other thing. No, that was way before. Who was Strahan with?
I don't know.
He might have been with both of those guys.
Antonio Pierce. Chase Blackburn.
Corey Webster.
Let's go, dude.
Hard to beat. R.W. McCorders.
Jason Sehorn? Too early.
That was like, yeah, that was a little. I mean,
R.W. McCorders.
Strahan played with Sehorn, definitely.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say Jabril will. I mean, wait, was it
Jabril Wilson.
Was it Jabril?
28, yeah.
All right. Eli, I think, was ranked number 1, or Strahan was ranked number 1, but that was the 3D lineman. And then who was the other one? Tiki Barber. No, Tiki Barber was ranked number 1. Eli was like 4 or 5.
That's unbelievable.
Strahan was 2, OC 3.
All right, so who's 6,
Eli
7?
4. Well, no, I was gonna say, who's your number 1? Eli? I'd probably go Strahan, Eli, Tiki.
I think Eli is the perfect, like, offense is, you have to outsmart people that are coming to chase and murder you. And I think Eli, his personality and his brain and how he carried himself and what he did, I think embodies what the New York Giants want in their quarterback. The New York Jets obviously want something different. That's why they went after Rodgers. But the Giants organization has always been like, dude, they didn't let guys wear dreads, right? For years. If you came to the Giants, you had to cut your hair.
No way.
Yes.
No.
Yes. Yes.
R.W. McCorders had dreads.
Yeah, but that wasn't like that long ago.
That was.
Remember Marion Barber?
That was like 16 years ago.
Do you remember Marion Barber?
Yeah.
The running back for the Cowboys. I think that he was supposed to be a free agent and he wanted to sign with the Giants, but they told him that he had to cut his hair. Dude, I'm not positive on this. I just feel like I always remember that being the case. Obviously, that has changed, but like, dude, tell me a Giants player that you can remember from way back in the day that had dreads or long hair. Actually, shocking, but
I was gonna say Plax.
he had cornrows, right? Or did he have short hair with the Giants?
I think he actually did have cornrows.
I think he definitely did with the Steelers. All right. Anyway,
We got way off track here.
we were talking about baseball. We ended up
Talking about the Mets.
Plaxico
Francisco Alvarez.
Yeah, so the Mets last night had a brutal showing in the field, especially Lindor. You know, as a shortstop, you're kind of like the anchor of the infield, and he just wasn't getting in front of balls that he easily could have had. He called off McNeil on a pop-up to the short center, hit off his mitt, and he had a near throwing error, an actual throwing error. He was horrible last night. And every time he's like, my bad, my bad, my bad, my bad. Dude, what did they lose by last night? 2 runs? Whatever, bro.
He started to pick up his hitting though. Happy about that.
Hundo P.
His batting average isn't as low as I thought. I think it's closer to 250. But a big problem last night was runners in scoring position and just getting outs or getting a double play turned on you. But the Mets pitching staff has been solid. Just looking across the diamond at the other team, the team they're playing, how many max deals do they have? Probably not Xander, but Machado, Tatis, Soto. They got Xander Bogaerts. They got Yu Darvish.
Who's their best pitcher?
Blake Snell.
Dude was lights out last night. 6 innings, 1 hit, no runs, 11 Ks. He's been the best pitcher in baseball since like May 25th.
And yet the Padres suck.
Yeah, they stink.
Why? I don't get it. I think Juan Soto, when everybody was like, oh my God, this guy's amazing. Who's going to win the Juan Soto sweepstakes? And it was going on for so long. Oh, what are the Nationals going to do with him? And then as soon as like the hype started getting up there, he was never the same.
I think the Padres will figure it out. There's too much star power over there. It's like the Dodgers. It's like those guys, the guys that have been on the Dodgers in the past 5 years. A lot of them have been there, and they figured it out once. Didn't they win the World Series last 5 years once?
Mm-hmm.
We were at Chipotle after golf, and I accidentally let out the biggest burp I've ever had in my life, and the entire building heard it.
Mm-hmm.
And Jack acted like he stood up and hid behind a wall because he didn't want to be associated with me.
No, I was having my sciatica was acting up, so the way I was sitting was really uncomfortable. Chipotle, what the hell is wrong with your stools? I felt like I was I feel like I was in kindergarten again. Knees bent at more than a 90-degree angle, going back.
Yeah, really preventing your body from stretching out and fitting all that food inside.
Yeah, and it was a shovel session, but got too full too fast.
Yeah.
Chipotle and Qdoba really know how to double a healthy portion.
Yeah.
Anyway, baseball. Padres underperform. There are a couple fun teams to watch this year, though.
The Braves, I feel like, are unstoppable.
Braves.
They are so deep.
You know the Rays only lost like 9 or 8 games until like May 7th or something, and then they've been playing 500 ball ever since.
Bums.
The Braves are still on a tear, like you just said. The Dodgers are always in it. I feel like the Yankees are always in it.
Dude, why are you so high on the Yankees? Makes no sense. They suck.
If they actually don't get Judge back, then yeah, they're fucked. Rodon did not look good. It was his first start since like donning the old pinstripes, but he did not have many strikeouts, and he looks like a guy that kind of like tries to get after the batter and kind of quick pitch him a little bit, and he tries to get like soft batted balls outs. Like he's not really like a big strikeout guy, even though Yes Network was trying to convince me the whole time before the game. It was like, expect a lot of strikeouts. What's the scouting report for Rodon? K's. Okay, that's not what we saw though. So they are supposed to have a nasty rotation, and they don't because of injury. But that's probably going to be the name of their season this year is the injury season. Because just after their home run god got 62 and broke the record last year, you also had to pay him a large portion of the salary cap, and he was not going to play. You really had no choice, but that you just got screwed. I hope it doesn't end up being a longer term injury than just the time that he's out. Joe looks like he's ready to say something.
Yeah, I am. I'm ready to get her going.
With what?
I started thinking about the Giants, and
So you're done with baseball?
yeah, for now.
Okay, cool.
Are you?
Sure.
Really?
Yeah.
You really feel that way?
Sure.
That doesn't sound happy.
We're buzzing.
I was. Dun 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 dun. All right, we're gonna go through every single team briefly. I'm gonna give Jack the FanDuel line for over under wins for the season for each team in the NFL.
So I don't know who they're playing.
Okay, so but this is one version of this. We will do the divisional matchups, and we will be able to break down who we think they're gonna beat and who they think they're
So
gonna lose.
This is just like me looking at the team. Like you say Cardinals, and it's like 2.5 wins, and I'm like
2.5.
2,
Are you serious?
and I'm like under.
No, dude. It's I mean, this is supposed to be a show. We're going to talk about it. It's not going to be a yes, no.
Yeah, but I don't know what divisions they're playing. Like the Jets are playing the NFC East and the AFC
All right,
East.
so how about you have the schedules in front of you that you can scroll through quickly, and I'll have the FanDuel open so that I can tell you what their over-under is.
That's a really good idea.
We're buzzing out here, but let's fucking go! The NFL is right around the corner. I couldn't be more fired up. Jack's whispering himself. Say, yeah. Fuck. All right, Arizona Cardinals. Kyler Murray is going to miss the beginning of the season. Colt McCoy is the assumed starter. DeAndre Hopkins is not returning. J.J. Watt retired. Over under 4.5. 4.5 wins for the Arizona Cardinals.
Over.
Over? For what? Because of Colt? Stop.
Not because of Colt.
James Conner?
It
Really getting you going?
definitely depends on how long Kyler is out.
Stop.
No.
Stop, dude.
No.
So what? Kyler comes back and immediately they go like 6-2 or some bullshit? Get the frick out of here.
Don't they just have to get 5 wins to go over?
Yeah.
So it depends on when Kyler comes back, but I mean they don't really have the toughest schedule.
Dude, they should definitely not play him the whole year, and
They play the NFC East and the AFC North.
I think the AFC North is going to be the best division of football. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that. One of these days.
I think that's an insane thing
All
to
right,
say.
Jack's taking the over. I'm
With
going
the
to take
AFC
the under.
West and the NFC East.
I'm going to take the under because I think that they're going to be tanking.
Yeah, if he's out for 10 games, yeah, they're not winning 5.
I think. Well, what if he's out for the whole season?
Then they're definitely not winning 5.
CinqBoys!
But if he's out for like 3-4 games, then yeah, they might win 5.
All right, next one. I really like this one. You got to pull out your phone again. The Atlanta Falcons. Desmond Ridder, year 2. Really, it'll be his 5th start as a professional quarterback in the National Football League on week 1. Mariota's gone. They brought in Taylor Heineke as a safety blanket. They drafted Bijan 8th overall. And they upgraded their offensive line. They upgraded their defense. I think they snagged Jesse Bates out from Cincinnati. They definitely added some pieces through the draft. On the defensive side of the ball, how's their schedule looking?
NFC North, AFC South.
That's excellent.
Yeah, it looks super easy.
Oh my god, dude. Those are the 2 worst divisions in football.
And their own division.
Holy shit. All right, so now you ready for the number? It's 8.5.
Yeah.
Over?
They can do it. Dude, half their games are going to be against really bad teams. Really bad teams. The Packers, week 2. The Texans, week 5. Commanders, week 6. The Bucs, week 7 in their own division. The Titans. The Cards.
Yeah, there's not really a lot.
The Bears.
Dude, the Bears are so hot cold in like the whole world of just like how good are they going to be. All right, we're almost at the Bears actually. Next team, Baltimore Ravens.
What order are we going in?
Alphabetical by city.
I love it.
Yeah. Baltimore obviously re-signed Lamar Jackson to the biggest deal in the history of the NFL. They also signed Odell. They should have Mark Andrews healthy. J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards. Their whole offense should be healthy. On the defensive side of the ball, they were able to retain Roquan Smith. I think that was the first move that they made in the offseason. And I think they signed a cornerback that was a free agent that was really good. I forget. I just generally believe that they should be a top 5 team in the NFL with Lamar healthy. How's their schedule?
NFC West. AFC South.
Okay, there's a lot of room for them to. I'm assuming.
That's 3 winnable games, 3 tough games
Okay.
in the Seahawks, Niners, and
And
Jaguars.
their division is tough. Baltimore's division is going to be tough this year. Bengals, Steelers, Browns.
Yeah, all those interdivisional games are going to be fantastic.
Yeah. All right, over under 10.5. I'm going over, bud. I'm really high on this Ravens team.
Yeah, but I mean, I could see both them and the Bengals going 11-6.
Perfect. The over under is 10.5. So we're buzzing.
Yeah, if I'm considering the rest of the division, it's like I don't think the Steelers' best case scenario is 9 wins.
Wow, that's a hot take.
Dude, you really think Kenny Pickett's going to be that good in this division? I think he can be middle of the road for a couple of years and then like be good if he has like a really good team around him.
I think they do have a really good team. I think they have a really good team.
I think a lot of teams. This is a common oversight that happens with NFL fans now. The offensive line. Steelers' offensive line hasn't been good for like 5 years. It's like the Jets with Aaron Rodgers. It's like we have great receivers. We have the great quarterback. The offense is going to work. If Rodgers has no time, if Pickett has no time, there's no that most of that half of the offense is gone. So you have to build the team. I think the Giants O-line was not that bad last year. And that's why when everybody was talking about how Evan Neal was playing so poorly and all this stuff, when everybody was saying like he sucked last year, I was like, well, like there was definitely some lowlights. Like I definitely saw a couple of those, but for the most part, like we weren't completely leaking last year. Like DJ had a little bit of time.
A lot more time than we've seen in previous years, and that's obviously the coaching. Andrew Thomas being an absolute cornerstone of the franchise. All right, back on track. Buffalo Bills. This one, for me, just based off pure talent and explosiveness through the air. Like, is Josh Allen have the career he's had without Diggs? I think that's a pretty reasonable question to ask. Because Gabe Davis ain't getting it done. Dawson Knox just got demoted on draft day. Who's the little dude that they had last year in the slot? Isaiah?
Braxton Berrios.
That was definitely a generic slot guy.
Who are we talking about?
The Bills. The slot
Isaiah
guy.
McKenzie.
Oh, yeah, Isaiah McKenzie. Yeah,
Cole
he's
Beasley.
Gone. Who are the receivers? I don't know, but without Diggs there and those deep balls, they're probably not the same team. They got rid of Singletary and brought in someone. Really upset. I forget who it is. Oh, it's Damian Harris from the Pats.
Oh.
And Von Miller is a year older and recovering from an injury. I'm pretty sure they lost their linebackers, dude. They lost both their linebackers to the Bears, Tremaine Edmonds and the white guy.
But I think they got one of the guys from the Eagles.
I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, so 10.5.
They have the AFC West and the NFC East. I think you and me.
Under? 10 wins is still under here.
And they have the AFC East.
Yeah, dude, under.
Pats are gonna be tough, dude.
Pats? The Pats.
You have to look at things how they
are
compared to how they were.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Mac Jones having Matt Patricia as his OC last year. We have to throw that tape away. The 2022-23 Patriots weren't a good representative of who they actually were and what they could be. They
Dude.
so far.
Go DM Mac Jones and tell him that you believe in him.
I might do that.
Yuck.
All I'm saying is you're looking at the weakest team in that division, and it's the Patriots, and they're going to give you a run for their money and compete with you every game.
Dude, I agree with you. The AFC East is not going to be
That's
easy
my
for anyone.
point. That's my entire point.
So you're taking me under 10.5?
Yeah.
The day is finally
Who
coming.
wins that division then?
Daniel Jones is better than Josh Allen.
Who wins? Who wins that division then?
Miami. Miami's going to win that division.
I can't hop on that. I can't.
Dude.
Give me the over for the Bills. Are you writing any of these
under.
down?
No. I have a clipboard right there.
Nah, it's too late. Who's next?
The Carolina Panthers traded up 8 picks to draft Bryce Young. Was this the quarterback draft to trade up to the first overall pick? Bears get DJ Moore in return and a bunch of picks. Panthers won a lot of grimy games last year. They traded McCaffrey in the middle of the season. They kept their defense intact. PJ Walker, Baker Mayfield, and Sam Darnold almost outplayed Tom Brady, the Buccaneers, and the rest of the NFC South to take home a division title. Fell short on the last game of the season, but that's it was a forgettable year to say the least. They start fresh, new head coach, new quarterback. How are we feeling? 7.5. How's their schedule?
NFC North, AFC South.
They're buzzing. They're over. They're easily over. No problem. They have a good roster.
But that's the Falcons and the Panthers. I mean, I think the Falcons sweep the Panthers. What is it? 8.5?
7. Dude. There's 17 games in the season.
Yeah, but this is a game where I could see like the Bears and the Panthers going head to head. Like the bad teams in the divisions that we're talking about that might be easy might be able to compete with the Panthers.
Who's the
Also,
coach last year?
The
Steve
Steppen
Wilks.
guy, yeah.
Can't believe I remember that guy's name.
Yeah, hell of a play by you. Now I'm going under.
Wow, I can't believe I thought you'd be higher.
They don't have a good division, and if they're gonna be like good compared to their division, which we give them a lot of credit last year for almost making the playoffs, they went 6-11.
Oh, dude, no, they went 7. They won 7 games.
As if that makes like a big difference.
It
you
does.
and me were talking about how if you don't go over 500, you shouldn't make the playoffs last year.
I understand the take that you're making, which is playoffs correlated to number of wins. What I'm saying is the over-under 7.5. They won 7 games last year. They got significantly better across the board from the front office all the way down to the practice squad. They should be able to win 8 games.
I don't think their games are going to be as easy.
Dude, you just named the 2 worst divisions in football they're playing against. The NFC North and the AFC South.
Yeah, but
their own division.
But the Saints got better. And the Falcons got better.
Did the Saints get better? I thought Derek Carr was bottom 5 in the league.
Nah, I just said he's not top 10.
And
I said that 2 years ago. And everybody jumped all over me for it. Ever since, it's probably been like 1-to-1 TD to interception ratio since that day.
Jameis Winston. All right, next, Chicago Bears. Justin Fields has emerged as a star with high expectations. It's like, bud, you didn't want to throw the ball because throwing the ball for you probably led to mistakes. So you tucked it and ran your way all the way into high expectation world. And you got a new GM, and he got you a receiver. Not like he's the best in the league, but he got you one, and the defense got better. So you shouldn't be in these 35-38 shootouts this season. How are we feeling about the Bears, bud?
I feel like I feel like this is the top team for them and the Colts, where you have this new team, new quarterback. You need to build around that guy. You need to run your offense like Jalen Hurts and
So
the
you
Eagles.
like Justin Fields?
No, I was about to bring up while you were talking. Did you see that Darnell Mooney clip that went around of him just absolutely destroying cornerbacks and then getting like overthrown or something?
You should have sent me that 5 times.
It's super rough. Justin Fields, just like many other highly touted, high expectation Ohio State quarterbacks, let's see who breaks the mold because he definitely has not yet.
Yeah, he sucks. Let's have
See, I don't agree with that because I feel like there's just new prototypes for how certain teams are built now. And I think with Jalen Hurts, he got this reputation of being like a good passer. I think it's all about how your team sets you up. And most of the time when they were passing really well, it was against a bad passing defense. I think about the Giants when they got absolutely torn up. Like, who was in our secondary last year? I have no idea.
I deleted it from my memory.
I have no idea. Now we have Deontay Banks.
He looks good, apparently.
I hope so.
Yeah, he's a press coverage guy. Love it. Especially if there's a safety over the top.
Back to my point is Jalen Hurts, I feel like exposed bad passing defenses and put himself as a decent passer, but he's a running quarterback. And then you have teams like the Colts and the Bears where you have a running quarterback that's an incredible athlete who's going to touch the ball every play. You have to mold your team around that guy, and his strength is running the ball. So get yourself some big O linemen that can move. And that's how you're going to have success. Because Darnell Mooney is going to keep getting open, and you're just going to keep missing him. And then, what then? You're not winning games. Get the play action going. Get a bunch of big tight ends that can block, that can catch the ball. Get it moving. Improve the defense. How many is there over under for wins?
7.5.
No way.
All right. My take on Justin Fields and Jalen Hurts, real quick. I think Jalen Hurts and the Eagles had to, dude, another thing, their schedule last year was super easy. Super easy, especially with what you said.
They were like
defenses.
6-0, and we were like, yeah, they could go undefeated.
And then when we were prepping for the playoffs, we were like, oh, this team hasn't really played anybody. So I think that Jalen Hurts, I understand he took his team to the Super Bowl last year, and that on its own is an accomplishment, but dude, there's a lot of advantages that he's had so far, and we're going to see a lot of that same stuff this year. They brought back pretty much the entire O-line, and they got better. They got better. They proved also that the running back position is interchangeable. Thank you for doing that. They brought in Swift. See, like Sanders was a Pro Bowler last year. They let him walk. They brought in an injured Swift, who's probably going to be able to fill whatever void. Why are we talking about the Eagles?
The run game.
My point is that I wouldn't say Jalen Hurts is a running quarterback. I think he's more of a game manager because there was a lot of throws last year he made to A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith where I was like, dude, he had to make that throw because
at the same time, if we're just measuring potential, to me, A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith are both like can be considered at one point in their careers like a top 10 receiver.
Yeah,
Devontae Smith, it's probably going to be down the road, but like we saw that Sherm quote that just came out about he was like contemplating retirement after covering Devontae Smith.
It's awesome.
Like these guys are really good. He's got a lot of help, especially from like the 60 to 65% running percentage. They're not expecting the rollout or the deep ball.
One last thing on the Bears. Dude, Darnell Mooney, if he starts his career with probably 15 other teams with a passing is their strength quarterback, we might be talking about a guy that's running a Pro Bowler. Like, who knows how good this guy could have been or any of the receivers that they have. If the quarterback can't fucking connect with them, then it's all for naught. I got the Bears under. Next team, Cincinnati Bengals. Highest over under we've seen so far. Only over in the plus with the money. Over 11.5 wins for the Bengals.
That is an ugly number.
Why? Why is that an ugly number?
So Steelers and Browns. Those are going to be competitive teams. Bengals and Chiefs give me the vibe that it's kind of like the Tampa Bay Lightning. It's like, hey, we're going to the playoffs. That's happening. Now it's more like let's stay healthy / win some tough games, but we're not concerned with going undefeated. The Ravens, to me, feel like they have something to prove. I could see the Bengals getting just 11.
It's not easy to win 12 games for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that they lost some pieces on their defense, which, dude, I saw one video on TikTok of this guy breaking down Joe Burrow's career so far and how in every big game that he's been in, the defense has carried him. Or there's been like some significant play at the end of the game that allowed them to make one play and then they're in a position to kick field goal or whatever it is, where yes, Joe Burrow has a tendency and a history of being a winner and their offense is loaded. But my take before we started this podcast was the Bengals are going to win the AFC North. The Ravens are going to be one game behind. I'm changing. I'm taking the Bengals under here. I got the Ravens to win that division.
They're bringing everybody back, right?
Who?
The goals.
No, they lost a bunch of guys on their defense.
Hendrickson?
I'm not sure about that, but
Hubbard?
definitely Bates. I don't know.
Bates, yeah.
I just have heard
Bates
so
was
many times.
rumored to sign with the Falcons as soon as free agency
Yep.
started. It went like 3 weeks, and then it's like, oh, where'd Jesse Bates go? Oh, yeah, signed with the Falcons. We all knew that.
Maybe there's some type of connection with the coach. Once he saw them doing well, he was like, I want to get the fuck out of here. Also, remember how the Bengals season ended?
Yeah, that defensive late hit.
And the locker room after? Perfect. Was it perfect? No, it was the other guy.
It was, I think Davis was the guy that hit him. I have no idea what those linebackers.
Locker room scuffle after that.
Oh,
game.
Pratt, Jermaine Pratt. I think he's a free agent.
No, he got re-signed.
Yeah, Bengals are going to be really interesting too. Dude, remember last year? I think they started 0-3. And I had to convince you that they're fine. They're fine.
Well, the O-line was shambles.
It was. And you did some excellent research.
I only know what I'm told because I don't know enough about the actual dynamics of like each position in football has a myriad of different technicalities that like a football play is 1,000-piece puzzle. A basketball play is 100-piece puzzle. You know, like it's just different. So it's hard to just like create assumptions or conclusions. All right, next, Cleveland Browns.
Can I just say real quick?
Yeah.
I consider with football plays, it is so much between the ears and just like either instinct with a little bit of technique, and then communication is a huge part of it too. So I don't know where that fits in, but I think it's
O-line.
I don't consider
technique.
But even with that, it's like Evan Neal could have the best technique, but if he doesn't like,
Apparently,
I don't think
it's the opposite for him.
I don't think technique is like everything. I feel like technique is like less than like 40%. I feel like a lot of it is instincts, especially with like football IQ and on defense linebackers.
Yeah. Hitting
Like,
the holes.
did you see that LT video? Dude, I've
Mm-hmm.
been buzzing on social media. I follow this account called Big Blue VCR on Twitter, and it was a video of Bill Belichick talking about LT, and he's like, "Yeah, he would come off the field and he would tell you right to your face that the whole defense that they've been planning all week is wrong, and that he breaks down where all the linemen go on every play, and he's like, and he picks up that guy. So if I go inside, then I'm going to break up the whole thing, and he breaks down the whole play. And he's like, well, you look at the film, and he's right, and we change our defense, and we dominated the next game.
All right. I do agree with you. It is between the ears. That's what separates the good from the great. But if you don't have technique in football, you're fucked. Like that's what I'm worried about with Jalen Hyatt. If you look at the top of his routes, they're very, very sloppy. And it's like as much speed as you can have, they are going to be able to take advantage of that between the schematics and motion. But in general, I would not trust him to win a short route against a all pro corner. But he can get there. Next, Cleveland Browns. Oh boy. Deshaun Watson, in his return to the NFL last year, took over Jacoby Brissett, who had the Browns, I think, one game below 500 before he departed from the starting role, and the Browns got worse. Deshaun Watson, I think, only had one game over 200 passing yards. He only threw like 2 passing touchdowns the whole season. It was a nightmare for the Browns, but apparently their camp is absolutely buzzing. He looks more like himself, how he was in Houston. I think Amari Cooper has kind of flew under the radar in terms of how elite he has been throughout his career. He was great on the Raiders. He was good on the Cowboys, and he has been the no doubt best receiver for the Browns ever since he got there. And he is one of the best route runners in the NFL. He's got speed. He's got hands. I think David Njoku is an absolute specimen. You see that guy on the sidelines, and he's just an absolute alien. Nick Chubb is one of the best. They let go of Kareem Hunt. He's still a free agent, but apparently they have this guy, Jerome Ford, who's an absolute spark plug. Their defense is still probably top 10 in the NFL. Still got the same head coach that brought him to the playoffs with Baker. What do you see for the Browns? Their over-under is 9.5.
You said their defense is still top 10. When you look at the Browns, do you think of defense?
I think of, yeah.
Wow. I've never even considered that. I mean,
I
it's
think
pretty
anytime you have
undeniable
a-
they have Myles Garrett.
Yeah, I think anytime you have a top 5 pass rusher, like a perennial top 5 pass rusher, like
Yeah,
Joey Bosa
he's
or
another alien.
Parsons,
David Njoku is
I'm high on him this year.
he should dude, it's his like third or fourth year. It's like you should be that middle of the field dominator guy, and he just hasn't been it. Granted, you're working with Jacoby and Baker, and
Bad Deshaun.
Josh McCown probably played for them.
He's a coach now. I'm serious.
But he's got to step it up. The other defense has to. I mean, they have Denzel Ward and a couple other guys. They got the AFC South
Dude,
and the
9.5
NFC
is
North.
right?
Yeah, no chance.
No
9?
chance. 9.5.
Yeah, no. No way.
I'm gonna say 9 wins. I'm gonna say under.
I think that's generous to give the Browns 9 wins. Especially with that division. They might get swept by their division.
Yeah. Next, Cowboys, dude. This is gonna make you happy.
It's gonna be what, 9.5? That's what happens when you're in the division with the Giants.
Yeah. All right, Cowboys. Zeke is gone. We don't know who their tight end is after Dalton Schultz left. Dak led the league in picks last year. Mike McCarthy is still the head coach. Pollard is going to have a huge workload on the defensive side. I think they added 2 defensive backs, but the one that really is going to mean a lot moving forward is they got Diggs on one side and Stephon Gilmore on the other. That's going to be real tough.
I totally forgot about that.
Close
And they
to
still have
pass
Micah
rush.
Parsons.
And Dexter.
DeMarcus.
DeMarcus. I fucked that up every time.
And they have another guy. I always forget his name.
Van Der Esch in the middle, re-signed.
I think they had another middle linebacker too that was starting to play really well.
I think so too.
But 9.5 wins, eh?
I'm taking the over. It's the Cowboys. They're going to end up blowing out teams that can't handle them on the defensive side.
So I've previewed a couple seasons so far of a couple different teams, but for some reason I don't know who the Giants and who the Cowboys are playing.
The Cowboy. I think we're playing the NFC West and the AFC East.
We are playing NFC West. AFC East, yeah.
Yeah, I'm a fucking sniper.
NFC West, AFC East.
All right, what do you got, Cowboys?
Yeah, I'll go over. It'll be just another Cowboys year.
Yeah, losing the first round. All right,
Well, they lost the
Broncos.
second.
Broncos had a tumultuous season on the offensive side of the ball. Total embarrassment for Russell Wilson and the front office with that whole trade with the Seahawks, especially considering the Seahawks made the playoffs and Geno Smith ended up being comeback player of the year, I believe. But the Broncos over-under is 8.5. I believe their defense is still really good. They got Surtain. They traded Bradley Chubb to the Dolphins for some reason. But apparently they were fine without him. Their defense was a lock. Like the Broncos were a lock for an under most of the year last year because of how good their defense was. And they hired Sean Payton, the most sought-after head coach in the market this past season, to pair up with Russell Wilson. I see a definite improvement. How's their schedule?
AFC East, NFC North.
All right.
So that's like mid-level, I'd say, difficulty. How many?
8.5.
I'm rooting for the Broncos this
Don't
year,
mind,
dude.
yeah.
I've
Let Russ cook.
I'm never gonna forget that game.
Broncos country, let's ride.
I think they lost, but I think they covered for me.
A lot.
And Russ sacrificed his life on the field, and he was ready to run back out there with stage 3 CTE, but he's ready to go this year. I'm fired up.
You know when Russell
I saw Jerry Jeudy run some routes.
Yeah, I'm high on him this year and Dolchich, like we talked about. You know, Russell Wilson, when they introduce it, like they do those intro videos on primetime football where they're like, Russell Wilson, Wisconsin. He says Russell Wilson, just a whole bunch of Badgers. He has said that every single time. How cringy is that, dude?
Just a whole bunch of Badgers?
Yeah.
He went to Wisconsin. It's pretty sick.
Pretty sick. I thought you were going to be on my side. All right, Detroit Lions.
Over.
Wow. 9.5?
I think they win their division, and I think that's the standard for a winning division winner.
What if how they played last year was just a product of them being underdogs the whole season and riding behind Dan Campbell?
I think they still feel that way.
They definitely have expectations.
I think they still feel that way, though. I think they still feel like people are counting them out.
I was listening to the PFF podcast, and they were talking about they did this huge breakdown on Ben Johnson, the Detroit Lions OC, and how he's a actual genius. They drafted Jamar Gibbs in the first round. They have Jamison Williams coming back week 7. They still have Amon-Ra, Jared Goff. The O-line is still great. Their defense, I'm assuming, got better in the draft. I don't know. But Aaron Rodgers is no longer in the division. The Vikings are probably not going to go 11-0 in one-score games next season. And the Bears, we already talked about, we don't think that they're actually going to turn into a playoff caliber team. So, yes, I agree with you. They should win their division. Are they going to get 10 wins? What's their schedule?
The Lions? Let me check it out.
They lost Jamal Williams to the Saints. He was there. Swift got hurt early in the year. He was projected to be a top 5 running back. Of course, I picked him in fantasy and he got hurt. Jamal Williams was their red zone guy. I think he led the league with 15 touchdowns. But Yeah, that team knows how to score. That team definitely knows how to score. Their defense was the problem.
AFC West, NFC South.
All right. I'll go over 10 wins. I don't feel comfortable about it, but I'll go over 10
The
wins.
Lions.
They should be able to scruff some wins out of their division in the South. Maybe like at least 7 wins out of their division.
I can't believe with how we were talking about them last year that they didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah, that was an absolute shame. And they won week 18 against the Packers. Aaron Rodgers' last game as a Packer.
And who
Lose to
snuck
the
in
Lions.
because of it?
The New York Football Giants and the Seahawks.
The Seahawks, yeah. Yeah, dude, I feel strongly in the Lions.
Yeah.
I think that they're going to be a pretty solid squad. Who's next?
Who's next, he says. It looks like the Green Bay Packers are next.
That's fantastic news. I can't wait to talk about the Green Bay Packers and how much better they're going to be with now that they don't have AA12.
You're on Jordan Love?
AR12. Yikes.
What did I just say? Jordan Love.
You said Jordan Love.
Yeah. So
do I believe in him?
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
There's no reason to say that like that.
I know. How much did Aaron Jones's fantasy value just absolutely plummet?
0%.
Why did you say something like that?
Because Jordan Love is probably going to have a reasonable amount of success. He's a big dude. He's mobile. He's been sitting behind Aaron Rodgers for a couple of years now. Matt LaFleur is a good offensive mind. They have a lot of youth and speed on the offensive side. Their defense is all right, you know. So it's 7.5.
Nah, I think they.
I think they'll get 7 wins. I'm going to take the under. I think they're going to be better than what you're saying, or at least leading me on to believe you're saying. But I still think there'll be 7 wins. I don't. Maybe
They
next
just
year.
don't have any game-breaking talent on offense.
Christian Watson. Dude, Christian Watson is like
What is he supposed to be, though?
like the 8th best receiver in the league.
Well, what is he supposed to be? Like a Debo? Is he a screen guy?
I think he's a deep threat. A take it to the house on a slant.
Is Jordan Love a deep ball guy?
I don't know anything about Jordan Love's game. Apparently, his college game was no type of impressive.
I saw him play anytime that Rodgers went out in the past 2 years, and there was literally nothing impressive. So I do have low expectations for him. Aaron Jones, definitely a running back that profited off of a good pass game and being able to do well in the run game. He had a great season last year, even though he got hurt later on. And the dump offs, they might be more prevalent. He might be getting more catches, but
I feel like Aaron Rodgers was dump off god.
I feel like anytime you get a new quarterback, it's like 50% of the playbook is going to be 5 yards or shorter.
But when you have a new quarterback and a bad quarterback, sometimes the dump offs may be more prevalent, but it's like 1 catch for -1 yards. And it's like instead of a good dump off, which leads the receiver into picking up 10 yards and running out of bounds. I don't know. It's pure speculation. I don't know enough about it.
To me, they just don't have enough game-breaking talent on either side of the ball. I'm going under.
All right, the Houston Texans. They drafted C.J. Stroud and then traded up to the very next pick in the draft to draft Will Anderson, the the pass rusher. So there's that. I guess the best thing that happened to them was just moving off of Davis Mills and whoever that other guy was that they were playing last year, Jeff something. They hired D'Amico Ryans as their head coach. Good for him. He was an absolute defensive savant with San Francisco. How much of that can be contributed to their roster on the defensive side? That is yet to be seen. But I think that they have a lot of good energy. Damian Pierce will be in his second year fully healthy. And I think, yeah, dude, I mean, it's the Texans. I mean, they're bad.
They're playing the AFC North and the NFC South.
Over under 6.5. I'm going under. It's not the year. Maybe next year. Maybe a little Trevor Lawrence action. Whereas second year you see the flashes, and the third year is when you're supposed to be good.
I am in the belief, for no particular reason, that Bryce Young is going to be much better than CJ Stroud. But it might end up being that there was a massive difference in how these players were given a chance to win. Maybe the Texans never become anything with CJ Stroud. Maybe it's the other way around. I don't think the Texans are going to be very good. I have very low expectations for the next 3-4 years.
Yeah, I
But
couldn't
the
agree.
Panthers, I'm kind of on the other side where it's like, I don't know, you might have something here. See what happens.
All right, Colts. My boy Anthony Richardson taking over for Matt Ryan and co. The Colts quarterback situation and offensive line situation, for that matter, was so bad last year. They were predicted to win their division by like 3 or 4 games, and they ended up with the fourth pick in the NFL draft. That was how bad that little experiment went. Frank Reich got fired. Um, he immediately landed in Carolina, but yeah, dude, bad. Oh, Jeff Saturday was hired as their head coach for the second half of the season. Unbelievable turn of events. Over under 6.5 wins. Same divisions as Houston. I'm going over.
I was gonna say this is one of the few teams that I actually have like looked over their schedule and like given like win-loss predictions for each game. They're playing the same divisions as the Texans. Obviously, they're in the same division. They're playing the AFC North and the NFC South. If they get that run game going, I think they can win like 7, maybe even 8 games.
Yeah, I mean, the tandem of Anthony Richardson and Jonathan Taylor is going to be a problem. And dude, Anthony Richardson's athleticism is absolutely unbelievable. And the fact that he's like 6'4", 235. He is raw, but he might win them games with how athletic he is and how strong his arm is, just being able to make plays. And their roster's good. Their defense is good. All right, Jacksonville Jaguars
Yuck.
came back to beat the Chargers after being down 27-0 in the playoffs last year, and then almost beat the Chiefs. I think they were down 6 with under 8 minutes left, and they ended up fumbling that bag. But high expectations for Jacksonville this year.
I'm never watching another game in Sharif's apartment.
Wow. What?
Because that Jags Chiefs game you just reminded me of the Eagles game. Eagles Giants divisional.
Yeah, that was pretty brutal.
But for the Jags, what is it, 10?
9.5.
Yeah.
Over?
Yeah.
All right, Kansas City Chiefs.
We're gonna go way more in depth on the Jags, but to me, it's like, can they get 10 wins? Like, if that's the entirety of this conversation is to do over unders? Yes. Let's move on.
All right, Chiefs. 11.5. Reigning Super Bowl champs. Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid brought it back. Everybody.
How's their division this year? Or I mean, how's their schedule?
Well, they'll probably get their annual matchup against the Bills. They're definitely going to play the Eagles. I think they're playing the Cowboys. Yeah, I mean, the Chiefs' schedule is going to get harder and harder every year because they keep winning. And then their division, they got the Broncos and the Chargers in there, who they have taken care of, especially on the road. Yeah, I'm going over, dude. It's Patrick Mahomes. Like, I'm not like I think there's no reason that anybody could think of, even if the schedule's tough, for us to say that they're going to lose 6 games this year. Get the fuck out of here.
So, whoa.
What?
Wait, what?
Say it.
Okay,
Say it.
so the Chiefs are playing the NFC North, so relatively easy. And the AFC East, so that's tough. And then their extra games are the Bengals, the Eagles, and the last one, the Jags.
Nice job, NFL. Nice.
I can't wait to go over the Eagles schedule and the Niners.
Over? Over 11.5, dude. Come
Yes.
on. All right, thanks. All right, Las Vegas Raiders signed Jimmy G. He barely passes his physical, or he didn't yet.
Raiders.
They shipped Derek Carr off, made his wife cry. They traded Darren Waller and drafted a tight end or traded for one. They replaced him immediately.
OJ.
Maybe. They Who did they sign as a receiver? They have Devontae Adams. They have another receiver. It's Hunter Renfrow, Devontae Adams. Wow, I'm upset right now.
Say Jones.
Jacoby Myers.
Well, yeah, I was going to say 2 years ago.
But
Jacoby Myers. Yuck. Talk about a guy that has a really rough rep.
rough rep. Why? He was fantastic last year.
That lateral pass?
That wasn't his fault. Oh,
You
God.
threw it.
No way.
Yes.
I thought it was Ramondre.
Ramondre threw it to Jacoby.
Yeah.
And then Jacoby threw it to
Chandler Parsons. In stride. And he barrels
Chandler
over Mac
Jones.
Jones and scores with a bullet. Slammed him so hard to the ground. All right. We're going to move quicker through these. Over under 6.5. For a brutal
Yeah, they have a rough
team.
roster. They have a really rough
Yeah.
roster. No way.
Under. Chargers. Here we go. This should be the Chargers' year. They retained and extended Brandon Staley against thousands of people saying they shouldn't. Apparently, the locker room is behind him. They think he's a great leader. Justin Herbert is still a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. Eckler ended up re-signing. He actually demanded a trade and then retracted it, and now he's back. I think he wanted to get paid more. They drafted Quentin Johnston to go alongside Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. And then they have Gerald Everett, who apparently is poised for a big year. And yeah, man, their defense is kind of the same. They got a bunch of stars that underperformed last year, but they got Derwin James, and Joey Bosa. Or Nick Bosa. No, Joey Bosa. Thanks.
So I hope that as schedule makers just keep stacking up these young quarterbacks in the AFC against each other. Because we got the Chargers also playing the AFC East and the NFC North. And then the Chargers' extra games are the Ravens, the Cowboys, and the Titans.
Yeah, Jack's very low on the Titans.
What is there to be? What is there to be excited about?
It's pretty much the same team that they had, but they have their starting quarterback back.
No, their defense got markedly worse over the past couple of seasons.
What's the market for that? Is it just worse?
It's more of like mark. What's the mark?
Ooh, nice.
And yeah, they got a lot worse. They re-signed Simmons, but besides that,
Bud Dupree, I think he's on the Steelers.
he started his career on the Steelers. I don't know why they didn't hold on to him, but
all right, over under 9.5 for the Charge. I'll take the over. Fuck it. They come back bigger. And
dude, they need to be more consistent.
Yeah,
And seriously, if they come up short in really dumb ways again this year,
Yeah.
Staley needs to be out.
Yeah.
That was one of those like, oh, their season's over. Like, let's do the little post podcast, and we go through the podcast, and the whole conversation is about like, yeah, there's no reason Staley should be around. And then immediately after the game, yeah, we love this guy. Well, there you go.
You know what their problem was last year in that game was that they can't run the ball.
At all.
Austin Eckler has never. It's like every single season of his career, he scores at least like 10 touchdowns and he gets like 50, 60, 70 catches. But he's never rushed over 1,000 yards in his career. And he has been pretty much, I'm going to play 80% of the snaps running back for their team and been healthy every year. I don't understand. They just can't figure out how to run the ball. I think they re-signed Sony Michel.
I don't think he's a good runner. I think he's a good receiver.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
I think Darren Sproles.
There's a couple other situations like how these things all fit together, like the puzzle pieces, but like I don't know how good their O linemen are at run blocking, but they must be pretty decent at pass blocking.
I think it has to be schematics.
Okay.
But
no, yeah, their run game coordinator could just be really bad.
It's just like the Bills. They can't figure out how to run either. All right, Rams. Do we even want to get into this?
What's the number?
6.5.
Depends on who starts.
Who starts what? At quarterback? It's going to be Stafford. Kupp is going to be healthy. Van Jefferson is apparently going to have a big year. How insane does that sound?
What about Stetson Bennett?
I'm taking the under. Dolphins. Dude, this one is a cakewalk. Over 9.5. I'm taking over 11.5 alt.
I think you are really high on the Dolphins, and if you put too much money on them and Tua gets hurt, you could lose them on a lot of money.
Yeah, that's why I'm not going to put too much money.
All right.
Or any money. But
you're definitely parlaying all these, right?
I don't think you can.
Okay, good.
You can.
Thanks.
Wait. Yeah, I can. All right. Dolphins, I think regardless of their schedule, proved to us last year that Tua can bang with the best. And between Tyreek and Waddle and Mike McDaniel and Tua, their offensive line got better. They have Jeff Wilson and Raheem Mostert, the two guys from San Francisco, as their running backs. And their defense apparently got much better. They signed a cornerback. They have Xavier Howard and Jalen Ramsey. And then they have Jalen Phillips.
They had Bradley Chubb
and Bradley Chubb, dude. Like, if their linebacking core has at least like one or two like good players, that defense should be something to be reckoned with. I have them as possibly being in the AFC Championship against the Chiefs in my general right now prediction.
They had like weeks like 3 through like 9. They had to be like the scariest offense to go up against.
Oh, yeah.
And like it was just week after week, just like, oh, slant to Jalen Waddle. Oh, the Dolphins scored 30 plus points this week. Oh, they scored 30 plus points again. Their defense was a huge problem. So it might be like a bigger deal than just having 4 studs. I know not a lot of defenses even have 4 studs, but maybe the rest of their defense is actually that bad because they were really bad last year.
Dude, if you were to have like on each like which 4 positions would you rather have the best players you possibly could? It would be the outside corners and the pass rushers. And those positions are fucking locked down with studs. Like Pro Bowlers. No doubt Pro Bowlers.
Yeah.
All right. Minnesota Vikings. They lost Dalvin Cook. They lost Adam Thielen. They drafted Jordan Addison. Hopefully, they address the defense. I feel like I didn't see them do that in the draft, and I haven't heard anything in terms of free agency that was any type of big splash. But their defense, like the Giants, with Hodgins and Slater. What am I saying? Slayton and Daniel Bellinger. Destroyed. the Vikings last year in that playoff game, and they were destroyed by good teams. Like the Vikings played a lot of mediocre teams last year and snuck out these 1 point or 1 possession victories, but they got fucking destroyed by good teams.
Cowboys
Embarrassed. Cowboys game, prime time against the Eagles in the beginning of the season, and then the playoff game.
But even
How they didn't win.
dude, the Cowboys game was on a whole different level. It was like 40-3.
In the third quarter.
The Eagles game was 24-7. That was like two touchdowns, you're in it.
But that was the beginning of the primetime bad quarterback play. Because that was week 2, I believe.
But Kirk's never been good at prime.
No, I know, but we didn't know. Like, that was just started the whole wave because then the Broncos were on primetime every week. The Colts were on primetime every week.
The Broncos, that was like a defamation lawsuit. Russell should sue the NFL for defamation. Why did you put me in such a bad spot?
Al Michaels should sue.
Actual grievances. I was bored calling these games.
All right, over under. I'm taking the under. Vikings.
For what is it?
8.5.
Like, I feel like that's who they should be, but yeah, you know what? They lost big pieces. Yes, we're going under.
All right, Patriots. We got like 10 more. Patriots 7.5. And this over is plus money. It's probably because of that division. Jets, Dolphins, and Bills. Are they going to even be able to scrape together 2 wins out of there?
How infuriating would it be if... No, you know what? I could see it working out that way. I could see it working out as a like they go into week like 16 or 17, like it's battle for the last spot in the AFC. It's like the Chargers, the Jets, and the Patriots.
And who do you trust in that situation?
Well,
Robert Saleh, and
it should be the Chargers, but the Jets might sneak in. Or I say that more as like the Patriots are like somehow still in it, just because I think they're going to be scrappy.
So over
Patriots.
I'll take.
That's what I mean. Like I feel like they could get like 8 wins and still be like kind of in it, but not really.
I think they'll be much better this year. I think their defense last year was pretty good. I remember middle of the year, I took Matthew Judon to be the defensive player of the year because every week he was picking up like at least 2 sacks. They drafted that Christian Gonzalez kid, cornerback, in the first round. And I think that they had like 12 picks in this past draft, and like 10 of them went to the defensive side of the ball. So they obviously have a plan in place. I'm going to go with the over. Here we go. Saints. Cannot believe this number.
Their division looks pretty rough, and I think you and me are definitely higher on the Falcons than them.
Yeah, it's 9.5 plus money with the over, plus the highest plus money I've seen.
We're going back to the schedules.
I'm taking the under. You have convinced me that Derek Carr is mediocre enough to not consider him a winning quarterback.
But this is the offseason when all the low light tapes are being produced, dude. Did you see that video that came out of Derek Carr inside the 10-yard line?
No.
Dude, it's so rough.
No way.
It's so rough. And it's also like with a PFF guy like announcing behind it, just like this is the worst red zone quarterback in the NFL.
Maybe that's why they added Jamal Williams.
Dude, I kept sneakily picking him in like the 9th round. Mock draft.
I'm afraid because
he's a red zone option, dude. He's a dog.
He is.
And he was good for the Packers before they traded him.
Yeah, that's true. He came on in the second half of that last season. He was there.
Saints games. All right. So far, I am seeing AFC South. And NFC North.
Yikes, those are brutal. Yeah. And their own division.
NFC.
Yikes!
NFC. All right, so let's just count the wins, the losses real quick. NFC North. No, let's count the wins. NFC North. They probably lose to the Lions.
and the Packers.
You have the Packers
Dude,
as
I'm
2
taking
in
the
that
under.
division?
That decision to have them lose to the Packers, I'm taking the under. If they can't beat the Packers, they're fucked.
Why do you think that they're going to lose to the
I
Packers?
think the Packers are good. I think
I don't know why. Why? Jordan Love hasn't done anything or proved anything to anybody.
Dude, if Kenny Pickett as a rookie with that O-line can take the Steelers to a 9-8 record, I think that Jordan Love can beat the Saints. I don't
know.
I don't know how I just correlated those two. Dude, over under. Let's go. 9.5.
What was it? NFC North, AFC South? I think they can go over. I think they can get 10 wins.
All right, I'm going to save this team for the end. Jets.
Giants is next. Save this team. This team
Jets,
has
9.5.
an NY in their logo. Jets 9.5. And they have the NFC East and the AFC West.
Yeah. And their own division.
So easily the toughest 2 divisions, and then the AFC East.
Yeah. And it's the Jets. And it's Aaron Rodgers.
And sprinkle on there like a Ravens matchup, a Bengals matchup, and like 9.5. That's the perfect number, huh? That's literally like, are they making the playoffs or not? I feel like 10 wins gets you a playoffs berth.
I don't think so. Okay. For all Jets fans out there listening, Aaron Rodgers has to resemble what he was 2 years ago when he won the MVP. Breece Hall has to not have any problems with his ACL. Garrett Wilson has to have a fantastic season, and another receiver has to come along for the ride. The defense has to be as good as they were last year. And then all those things have to go right. And then on top of that, to make the playoffs, you got the Chiefs, the Bills, the Dolphins, the Bengals, the Ravens,
Chargers,
the Chargers,
Jaguars.
the Jaguars, the Broncos, if they're good.
And then
that's 8 teams.
And then this year you have to play the Eagles, the Cowboys, Giants.
No, that's not the opponents. I'm talking about who they have to outplay
AFC,
to win the fucking to make it to the playoffs. So that's 8 teams. The Jets are 9. They're gonna have to outplay at least 5 of those teams to make the playoffs. With the schedule that they have, I don't think so. I'm taking the under. Taking the under, dude. Maybe 10 wins does sneak them in because of, something happening, but I'm taking the under. I don't think that they can do it. There's too much that has to go right. What if Rodgers gets a boo-boo and plays through it? Throws picks. Dump down God.
Everybody's overlooking the offensive line, and I don't think they've had a good one in a while, so. And the whole Becton thing, like he was supposed to be a stud a couple of years ago. I don't think he's played more than like 20 games in his career.
Quentin Williams is still not signed.
Even if he gets signed, like I think their defense is going to be good.
Yeah, that's
great. Just like I don't think their offense is going to be able to do what everybody thinks it does just because you plug in Aaron Rodgers.
I'll throw this in there too. Aaron Rodgers has a negative playoff record. And when asked about, he was on stage talking at a psychedelic therapy conference. And he's like, oh, for anybody that doesn't think that it works, I had 29 touchdowns and 10 interceptions one season. I did psychedelic therapy. And the next season, 48-5, 44-4. Aaron, what happened in the playoffs, bud? Your team won 13 games in the regular season, bud. You lost in the first round.
Some people are just so oblivious. It's like, dude, we don't. The more you talk about yourself and MVPs, like people are gonna respect you less.
One more thing on that conversation, really quick. Somebody asked Derek Jeter, what was your best season, personally? He said, like 96, 98, 99, 2000. All the years that they won. 2009. All the years that they won the World Series. A-Rod, Some year that he won MVP where he had 14 home runs in one month. That was his answer. Two different types of cats. Two different types.
I could get behind Jeter if he didn't seem like he was such a like you're talking to me kind of guy.
I don't know what that was referring to. I don't get it. I don't get people that don't like Derek Jeter.
He comes off super snobby.
I don't get that either.
That's what I meant with the whole.
I think he's awkward. I don't think he's snobby. I don't think he's as like fluid and charismatic. I think he's obviously like an attractive guy. He's a superstar in New York City for 15, 20 years. Like he's super reliable, like stand-up guy. Like I think all those things, yeah, but I think like he's on the Fox set now and he's just like kind of it's okay. As a player, he's unbelievable.
Just my perception is he gives me the vibe that like a lot of things are below him. But
Okay.
like I want to see more of him on Fox. Like if we see more of him, that means he's like getting more comfortable, I guess.
All right, next team we got is the Philadelphia Eagles, over 11.5. Easily taking the over. This team shuffled in and out, a couple interchangeable parts, kept who they needed to keep, except for their coordinators. Both their coordinators are gone. Took head coaching jobs, probably jobs that are going to set their careers back, actually, with the Cardinals and the Colts, right?
Mm-hmm.
They still have all the talent in the world on both sides. And if there's one thing that the Eagles have had for them, it's that they drafted 80% of their guys. And it's a homegrown unit that plays in Philadelphia, a gritty city. So I'm on the over, dude. I'm on the over.
Yeah, it's easy.
What?
I said, yeah, it's easy. Why are you looking this up?
Pittsburgh Steelers over 8.5. We got 6 teams left. Over 8.5 Steelers. We on the over?
6?
No, 8.5 for them.
Yeah,
to
let's go.
continue
Mike
the streak.
Tomlin?
Yeah. All right. 49ers over 10.5 with Sam Darnold probably starting the season. Brock Purdy, if Darnold is playing not good enough, is probably going to take over. And how good can he be?
I'm just gonna answer with no hypothetical. If Sam Darnold is their quarterback, I'm taking the under.
I agree. What about Trey Lance?
Same.
Brock? Yeah, you're right.
Break the record.
Yeah, they brought back a lot of the same guys, just in the same. They added Javon Hargrave from the Eagles, guy that had like 12 sacks last year. And yeah, everybody's healthy. They got fucking McCaffrey, Debo, Ayuk, Kittle, Kyle Shanahan.
Did Trent Williams resign?
I believe so. I'm not positive. Seattle Seahawks. I'm taking the over.
I love the Eagles. I mean the Seahawks.
Seahawks over 8.5.
8? Yeah, I think they win the division.
I think that there's a lot that has to go right. I mean, a lot went right. Like last year was the best case scenario. A lot of teams had them winning only 4 or 5 games.
But I think Pete Carroll's a really good coach. And I think they're going to get back to their defense being really good. Like their defense is trending well,
yes, excellent. Yes.
Especially in the pass game. I think they're just going to get better. I wish they had a young Bobby Wagner because that would be really nice.
Don't they have an old Bobby Wagner?
Did he? I think he did back. I thought he did the whole like I'll resign for a day so I can retire.
I think he's playing.
Okay.
I'll take the under. I just think that a lot has to go right. I think they can win 8 games, but I don't know.
I think they're both good in the run and the pass, and like I said, their defense is going to get better. I mean, we're not examining their schedule right now, but I can't imagine with all the teams that we already talked about playing against the hard teams, the hard divisions. I can't imagine that they have one of those. Let me check.
I just don't believe that Geno Smith can just, at age 33 now, be as good as he was last year. Apparently, there's some metric where he was top 5 in the NFL in terms of like turnover-worthy plays. And that's the more often that you're doing 90 on the highway, the more often you're gonna get in a car crash.
The NFC North and the the NFC South. Yikes. Nope, the NFC East and the AFC North.
All right, so they're gonna be bad.
Seahawks? I mean, those are two of the top three toughest divisions. I think that Gino played a pretty sheltered role last year.
Wow.
Like more of a game manager than he was getting credit. Like he was getting way more credit than he deserved, I think.
It's fair.
And dude, I can't believe they took Smith and Jigba.
Yeah, it would reach. They should
Especially
have went defense.
especially because they already have Lockett and Metcalf, but
Should have went for a tight end.
like that could make their offense just that much better. Where they have all these guys, these absolute stud athletes flying around the field making plays.
Little Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd action.
Except better.
Yeah. All right, Titans over. Oh no! Tampa Bay Buccaneers 6.5 under. Titans over 7.5.
Let's look at their schedule. Let's do a little deep dive.
Dude, they are easily going to surpass 7.5 wins.
Why do you say that? I think them and the Texans are at about the same.
Dude, imagine if Mike Vrabel was given a better roster or a better quarterback, how good his teams would be. He has won 10 plus games like every season except for one with this Titan squad with Ryan Tannehill at the helm. And no receivers. None receivers. Dude.
NFC South. NFC South. Is it?
Yikes. Say what you want.
AFC North.
And their own division. Over 7.5 for the Titans. Easily.
AFC North?
Dude, it's 3 games out of their schedule. 4 games out of their schedule, whatever it is. They are definitely winning.
I think they lose to all of those. Browns,
yeah,
Titans.
Yeah.
What do the Titans have except for an oversized running back?
A coach.
Wasn't good enough last year. Won't be good enough this year.
He had Malik Willis and Joshua Dobbs. Don't act like that means nothing, dude.
Last time we had the quarterback ranking conversation, I came out on top with fireworks exploding behind me.
Wow. I was not there. Was it a solo show?
No. Derek Carr, remember that conversation?
I was right about DJ and Russell Wilson.
You were never. You can't qualify as being right about DJ if you
and Aaron Rodgers.
If you hop off the ship 17 times.
I was always on the ship. I was just on the railing.
And during that time that I was calling Derek Carr a fraud, I was also calling Ryan Tannehill a fraud.
He's not a fraud.
He's
a game
terrible. He's terrible. Some quarterbacks are like, all right, like I run. I'm more of a runner. Tannehill is like, I can't do either.
He wins games.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, you're right. AFC Championship twice.
That's why they won against the Giants in week 1, right? When they were up 12.
Dude, that jackass Bullock missed a field goal. He got them to that space. Actually, I think it was 3 defensive holdings for the Giants. Anyway, you're taking the under?
Yes.
7.5?
Yes.
Oh, my Lord.
That division is going to be terrible, but I think the Texans are going to steal some wins from them.
The Texans, you think are... Okay. Commanders, 6.5. I'm hearing a lot of buzz about a Mr. Sam Howell, but I don't think it's real.
Okay, then I will be the guy that doubles down on Howell. I'm taking the over.
Yeah.
6.5, I think, is generous. Lee low.
I'll take the over
Yeah, me too.
because it's so low.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm gonna take the under.
7 wins? You
I'll
don't
take-
think they can get 7 wins?
Nah, they're gonna win 6. All right, the last team, the New York Football Giants. What do you? I didn't look at what their over under is yet. What do you think it is?
Is it 8.5?
No,
Is it 6.5?
no.
7.
Yeah.
Where did we think it was going to be?
10.5. What?
It's not realistic.
Why?
For a non-Giants fan making the lines, no, they're not going to think the Giants are getting 12 wins.
Dude, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Dude, we're gonna win 10 games this year. Here are the wins. Here are the wins. Rams, Saints, Packers, Patriots, Commanders, Raiders, Jets, Commanders, Seahawks, Cardinals. That's 10 wins, dude. And that has me picking them to lose both games to the Cowboys, both games to the Eagles, to the Dolphins, and the 49ers, and the Bills.
Yeah, so the divisional picks that you just said with them losing both games, like that's nothing new. So we can't beat those teams.
I think that we'll beat the Cowboys this year.
I hope so. That would be definitely a trend in the right direction. Like, if we're talking about actual New York Giants goals, you've been following the team your whole life. This is where you want to see the team trend. This is going to be an example of the team trending in the right direction, progressing, maturing together. We got swept by the Cowboys and the Eagles last year. Maybe beating the Eagles this year is unrealistic. Well, then let's take one from Dallas. Haven't done that in a while. That if we make it back to the divisional round, even if we lose, if we beat Dallas this year and we get like 10 wins, we're different. And we're going to be better next year.
Let's go. Giants going to win the Super Bowl. Daniel Jones going to win the MVP.
See,
right.
that's like
Dude.
you're just sucking the fun out of it.
Yeah, that's what I do. I suck the fun out of shit.
I mean, just like All
right, dude. They just released the lines for every Giants game, like all the teams, but the Giants. Here it is. Cowboys are only 3-point favorites at the Giants week 1. Giants are 4-point favorite at the Cardinals. 49ers are favored by 5.5. Giants are favored by 1 against the Seahawks. Giants are 5-point dogs to the Dolphins, 7-point dogs to the Bills. Giants are favored by 2 points over the Commanders. The Jets are favored over the Giants by 1.5. The Raiders are favored over the Giants by 2 points.
Jared Stidham.
Cowboys favored by 5. Commanders are favorites over the Giants. Giants are favored over the Patriots. Giants are favored over the Packers. Saints are favorites over the Giants. Eagles 7.5 over the Giants. Giants are favored by 4 against the Rams. And there is no line available for Week 18, probably because they think that the Eagles will be benching their players. Dude, right off the rip, these lines make me feel extremely comfortable about my 10 wins pick, number 1. Number 2, Giants were the best team in the NFL last year against the spread. You know what that means, right?
Really?
Yeah. 13-4.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah.
That makes me proud.
Yeah. Also,
We keep games tight and we win games we should.
so our schedule last year was a lot easier than this year, but we did get better. So we'll just say that those things cancel out and we win 10 games. Congratulations to the Giants on securing the 3 seed in the NFC. And
What's so funny?
what is so funny?
Well, that sounds like they do better in the regular season than the Cowboys and or
The Eagles.
the Niners No, the Eagles are easily number one in the NFC. And or the Seahawks and or
All right.
the
yeah,
Lions.
best teams,
I think the Lions can earn a 3 seed. I don't think we said the Lions total on that one.
On what?
On the FanDuel.
Yeah, we did.
What was it?
It was 9.5.
You sure?
All right, guys. It's been the CinqBoys podcast.
CinqBoys.
Follow us on Instagram at CinqBoys. Download the BetStamp app and type in code CinqBoys. Let's have a day. We're buzzing.
You think golf's still on?
Absolutely. They started at 1:30. All right, peace.